Yes, peeps, man. We're back in the building. I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, I've been away for a little bit, but just sorting out life and etc. But guys, make sure you're smashing the like, you're sharing, and you're subscribing to the channel this week. Hopefully, it's going to be a very, very good week. So make sure you guys are rocking with me. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just subscribe. It takes 2 seconds. You ain't even really got to watch all the videos. You know what I mean? 10 seconds, just not even 10 seconds, a second, a nanosecond to just hit that like button down there. That's all I'm asking. After that, go about your day. Do you know what I mean? Go back to watching that silly TikTok video. It's up to you. I'm not here to judge. But we're obviously here to talk about Marcus Rashford. The here we go to Barcelona. I think it's going to be a very, very intriguing move for Marcus Rashford. Obviously, we know what's been going on, with himself, in terms of the last like couple of seasons. Now he's got this kind of big move to Barcelona. This is where we're going to really, hopefully, and of course, listen, he's going into a Barcelona side that is already kind of settled in terms of the attack. But what's the plan? What's Hansi Flick, kind of got, in offer for him? We're obviously going to be able to wait and see. Obviously, Fabrizio just letting everybody know, verbal agreement, obviously in principle, between all parties involved with Barcelona planning for medical tests in the next few days. Obviously, that's already been sorted. Understand Barcelona will pay 14 million euro gross as salary coverage, plus bonuses linked to appearances. Marcus Rashford is going to take a 15% pay cut, and Manchester United will not cover his salary. And there is a 30 million euro buy option for next year. June 2026. Now, obviously, this morning, Marcus Rashford, he set obviously for his medical as a Barcelona player today, which is obviously authorized by Manchester United. All documents are being exchanged between the two clubs today. So it looks like all of the formalities we're going to be able to see Marcus Rashford finally be unveiled as a Barcelona player. Listen, as I mentioned before, like it's Marcus Rashford. I thought this guy was going to be like the best winger, the best left winger at bare minimum, and if not the best winger in world football. I thought that's the kind of trajectory he was heading on. He looked like a player that he had everything in his lock. He had everything in his game. He can play all across the front three if you needed him to. If you wanted him to play up top, he could do that. On the left, obviously, I mean, I don't know. I actually don't know. I would love to actually find out if he feels that this is his best position out there on the left. Like if he actually enjoys that. I don't really know. I've not really checked that out, but I would love to know from people who do know, is this the position that he wants to actually play? Because the last few years, for Marcus Rashford, and I know obviously manager Eric Ten Hag, and I obviously got Ruben Amorim, and Manchester United, and Manchester United have been absolutely dog shit, for the last like few years. It's not a great environment. Manchester United is one of the worst environments in the Premier League from what we've seen. Now, obviously, I don't know, but from what we've seen, it looks like it has to be top three worst environments in the Premier League, and they are very close to the top. Such a big institution like Manchester United shouldn't be in the position that it's currently in, of course. Now, fair enough, things change and etc. etc. But we saw from last season in terms of where they actually ended up in the league. Yeah, this is starting to get. I wouldn't, obviously, I'm not Manchester United fan, so I don't really care, but it's starting to get to the point where it's like, yeah, it's now becoming a bit pathetic, as an institution, as a club as big as yours shouldn't really be in this stage, shouldn't really be here. I'll be honest with you, and that's where I think Manchester United are at as an actual football club. I understand, they've got a lot of rebuilding to do, but this is now becoming a little bit pathetic, and you're doing worse than clubs should be doing in your kind of position. With the power that you've got, you shouldn't be here. You've had so many excellent players throughout the years, and for some weird reason, you're now in this position. We've seen Paul Pogba come, go. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Di Maria, Radamel Falcao, obviously with Marcus Rashford. You've had the Wayne Rooney. It's getting pathetic now, as an institution. Guys, you need to obviously sort it out. Obviously, for me, long may it continue. But when I'm just looking at from a player aspect, I'm like, man, going to Manchester United at this moment in time, right now, and again, listen, things can change just like that, and I understand that. But when you're looking at it, it doesn't really look it doesn't really look appealing. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't look like anything that you'd want to go to as a player. And if you do, there's only, and I mean only, the financial gain. You're not going there for any other reason, no footballing reason anyway. Can't be, because they're absolutely dog awful. So there can't be a football reason as to why you'd want to go there. And it almost infuriates me when I speak about this, because yes, listen, I'm a Liverpool fan. Man United rivals, all of that. I hear that, but I'm a football fan anyway. I'm a football fan first, so I kind of need Manchester United to get back up to, you listen, man. You guys, we kind of need you to be better than what you are at this current moment in time, man. But listen, whenever that happens, it happens. But in regards to Marcus Rashford, listen, I mean, Eric Ten Hag, Ruben Amorim, Louis Van Gaal. I mean, Jose Mourinho. The guy's had so many different managers throughout the years, right? So his development has been kind of. I feel like his development has gone with the managers that have obviously come in, since him, making his debut for Manchester United. He was on this kind of upward trajectory, and you could see, listen, this guy's going to be one of the best wingers in world football, if not top three best winger in world football. But the last couple of seasons for Rashford, it's just been. I mean, last season he was on loan, Aston Villa. That's kind of way. And no disrespect to Aston Villa, of course, that's calm. But Manchester United, like the institution that Manchester United is, we shouldn't really be in this kind of position, And I get it. There's a lot of off-field stuff, and I'm not here to really talk about that because I don't really know, too much about it. I'm just here to talk about the football itself. But I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, I feel like with Rashford, there's something there. I don't know what it is. And listen, we'd have to obviously wait and see when the time obviously comes. But I feel like there is something there with Marcus Rashford. It's just about really just trying to put it all together. Like, that's the way I'm kind of looking at it at this moment in time. It's just about putting it together. He's a decent player, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know some people don't rate. I hear all of that. I'm not here to argue, and I don't actually care. You know what I mean? You rate him, don't rate him. Sit on whichever side of the fence that you kind of need to. But for me, I rate the guy. I feel like he is a good player, but you're not showing it. And if you're not going to show it, then there's only so long that you can really be, yeah, no, he's a good player, man. Like, give him time. You've had your time. I'm sorry, Rashford, you've had your time. This is it. I'll be honest, this is actually it for you. Like, if things don't work from here, then I don't know. We've seen, obviously, Jadon Sancho went out on loan to, Borussia Dortmund before obviously going on loan to Chelsea. Look how excellent Jadon Sancho looked there. Like I said, it's the environment at Manchester United. It is the worst. Oh, fuck it. I'm just gonna say it's the worst. For me, it's the worst. I can't think of a worst. Like, I can't think of a worse team club to go to. Maybe a Sheffield United. It's on that level. That's the kind of level that they're at. But then you got to start, good players. The Bruno Fernandes, I feel like, is a top player. Marcus Rashford. That you got some decent players in the team. It just none of it is just working. And you got a player like Marcus Rashford that you should like. Man United should not be in a position that Marcus Rashford is going on loan to Barcelona. Like, just deep that for a second. You don't want him. That's fine. It is what it is. Like, that's football, right? But like, how are you in this position? Like, I don't. He's a boy who come from your academy, and now he's just going on loan. He's not even being sold. He's just been going on loan to Barcelona. Like, I don't understand. Like, do you know how tapped that is? Like that you're now in this position. Like, do you know how bad you must be as a club that you're now in this position? Like, it's not like you sold him because he always had a dream to go to Barcelona. It's not even like that. It's just the manager don't want him. He's not really feeling Manchester United. He needs to get out of the country. All of these things. That's why he's going. And listen, good for Marcus Rashford. Now you're going to Barcelona. Now you're really going to go to the big boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we're going to really see who the Don Dadas are, kind of thing, because now you're going to a respectable club, at this current moment in time, of course, in, a team like Barcelona. And, in terms of who Barcelona are, we know with the Lamine Yamals, you got the Pedris, and, you got so many, like, just star players, and, Rafinha coming off such an amazing season. Lewandowski, heck, by his standards, this was a good season, but, we've seen Lewandowski score the 50 goals this season, but, still Lewandowski doing his kind of things. But then you've also got players, coming through like the Firmins. You got Dani Olmo obviously in there, Frankie de Jong alongside a Pedri, Balde at the back, Kubasi, one of the best young centre backs. They just got in a new goalkeeper, Juan Garcia. It's Barcelona, problem next season, absolute problem. Fantastic team, over there. So for Rashford to join that, maybe it's just a change of environment that he's always needed. Obviously, going to Aston Villa anyway last season, you could feel, yeah, he just looked calm. He just looked calm. Do you know what I mean? It just looked like, when you're able to just, like, you come home from work or something, it's like, I can just relax now. That's what it felt like when he went to Aston Villa. He wasn't pulling up trees. It wasn't doing a madness or anything like that. It was just like, you just play football now. Like, you're so relaxed. Like, just kick ball now. Don't have to worry about nothing, kind of thing. Like I said, the off-field stuff is the off-field stuff. we know how the UK move in terms of their reporting. We know how racist, the UK actually is in terms of towards black football players and things like that. So unfortunately, it just comes with the territory. So maybe, and I'm not saying Spain is that much better, but it just in terms of being away from that English media and then going over to a Spain, like I said, I'm not saying Spain is that much better in terms of the racism and things like that, but it's away from English media. And I feel like for him in the headspace that he's probably in right now, this is probably the best move. And it's Barcelona playing alongside Lamine Yamal, the Rafi, like I mentioned, all these players. Yeah, I'm good. Let me go here. If you can't enjoy your football here, Rashford, as much as I rate you, then yeah, it ain't for you, my boy. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna need to go somewhere else, Turkey or something, just to play football and just enjoy, you know, just football in a general kind of sense. Oh, like I was going back through the seasons. I was looking at, Rashford and what he's been on, 23-24 season. I mean, in terms of his GA, it wasn't really that good. But even just, I remember just watching Rashford, last, 2 seasons ago, technically. I remember watching him and just thinking, this is just a player who is going through the motions at this current moment in time. He's really, really just going through the motions. And it's sad to see that this is where we've kind of gotten to with Marcus Rashford, where you're just kind of going through the motions. It's not really working out. Obviously, with the managers and all that kind of stuff, I get it. But still, but the season before that, guys, this is a brilliant season. A brilliant season by anybody's standards. This is a brilliant season. 30 goals straight off the rip. That's what I'm looking at. I see the 12 assists, 30 goals though, 56 games. Excellent. Excellent. For a guy who can play left wing, centre forward, right wing. He played what was that? The majority of his games on that was that the majority of his games on that left hand side, but he can play all across the front three. So I understand why a team like Barcelona would be looking for someone like that. In fact, it kind of makes sense when you kind of deep it in terms of I thought they were gonna have to buy Marcus Rashford. So I was looking more like, I really wanted them to sign Nico Williams, and I still would obviously can't happen now, but I still think Nico Williams would have been a better option. But I mean, if you can get this guy, for on loan for a season, and then you can worry about buying him next season again, judging to see, how he does this season, it's pretty good business from Barcelona. And again, like I said, a player who can play all across that front three. Season before that, again, not really that great, 32 games. It's so weird. Like you went from this 32 games, this is 21-22 season, right? 32 games, 5 goals. Then you have 56 games, 30 goals. Then you go to back to 8 goals. It's so weird with Rashford. Like, I don't know. Like, there's no measuring stick here. Like, where are you at? Do you know what I mean? Where are you at as a player? Like, where are you at just as a footballer and all of this? Like, is your like I said, I would want to know that for people who do know Marcus Rashford a lot better than I do. Like, what's his best position? What's his favorite position? Forget what his best position is. That's irrelevant. What's the actual position he wants to play? What's his favorite position? That's more important than what your best position is. Because if the two might be different. I mean, fans might see it one way. He might be like, no, I want to play through the middle, or no, I want to play out left, or I don't really know. I mean, he used to play in a certain system. I don't know. I just want to see, of course, how this obviously, works out for Marcus Rashford. And, I was looking at this and big up Pythagoras. I think it's Pythagoras in Boots. By the way, love the name. Make sure you guys check them out, man. They're really, really good. Good channel. And obviously I follow them on Twitter as well. But they put up this 11 of just Barcelona in terms of where Rashford could potentially start, So you can see they're obviously out there on that left-hand side. So playing in that kind of Rafinha position, but you've got Rafinha who can still play in the team just through the middle now. Obviously Lewandowski up front, and then you've got Lamine Yamal out there on the right. That is an option. There is obviously, of course, the option of Rashford just replacing a Rafinha at times, rotating with him maybe a little bit more. Maybe he could rotate with, Lamine Yamal potentially, which is crazy to think that a 17-year-old, a 20, whatever is, 8, 9-year-old is having to rotate with a 70. That's mad. But listen, this is where we're at this current moment in time. This is where your career is at. So you kind of just have to roll with the punches, right? But when you're looking at it, because I said he can play across all of that front three, it gives them options. You can also play up front as well. So you can still have the Rafinha out there on the left-hand side and kind of keep the team the same as it was. But Lewandowski can't potentially play all the time. Lewandowski might get injured. We saw with last season what kind of happened. Obviously, where we had Ferran Torres who was able to, step in, it was okay. But in a general sense, I don't know what's going on with Ferran Torres anyway. But again, he might just be used more as a rotational piece. Who knows how Hansi Flick is going to kind of play it. But Rashford, there is options. Again, he can play on that right-hand side as well. So it's going to be intriguing more so for me. Obviously I support Barcelona, so I really want to watch them next season. And let me see how Rashford kind of does. You know what I mean? Let me see where Rashford is. Well, let me see where his head is at first and foremost, and how he obviously acclimatizes to playing in Spain first and foremost in terms of the style of play at a team like Barcelona. Is this kind of style of play Hansi Flick's kind of mix between gegenpressing, but also a little. I was almost saying gegenpressing. Actually, I'll probably say it's just more German style because that tells me being stereotypical. More of a German style mixed in with the Spanish kind of flair and the kind of technical ability that you kind of need to be in a Barcelona team. Is that going to work for Marcus Rashford? Potentially. I mean, I can't see why it necessarily couldn't work. Because I know it's Barcelona at the end of the day. I get all of that, but with Marcus Rashford, obviously, if he does play obviously on that left hand side, when I look at him, I think, well, I mean, he hasn't shown me that he hasn't got the pace still. He looks like he's still got that pace. He still can get in behind if needs be. Good dribbler of the ball. He's got an absolute rocket on him. That could probably work. That could probably work. And again, just depends on how Hansi Flick wants to kind of use him as a player. But I think it can work. But again, he's coming in, new player. The team is kind of set in terms of the way it is, in terms of a starting 11. So you will have to work your way into the team. But of course, I'm sure he already knows that. And I think he's good enough to be able to do so. If certain players are not performing and stuff like that, you need to take opportunities wherever you can. Again, looking at Ferran Torres, that's someone he should really be looking at and saying, okay, how is he still able to, you know, be sharp, but he's not playing all the time? Yeah, I need to, maybe chat with him, kind of thing, and see where his head was kind of at. But listen, man, it's a big move, man, for someone like Marcus Rashford at this stage of his career. I didn't think he would get the move. I thought maybe, like I said, going to like a France, like a Marseille, or going to a Turkey, kind of thing. It seems like a lot of players are kind of doing that. I thought that's where he was kind of headed, but now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, listen, now you're at Barcelona, now you're at the big boys now. Do you know what I mean? Now we need to see what that looks like moving forward for you in an individual kind of sense. But let me know in the comments, people, man, in regards to Marcus Rashford. Is this a good move for him? Is this a good move for Barcelona? Do we think he's going to have a successful season? What does that then mean? Obviously, he knows the World Cup is coming. So there's so many different things that are going to be, come into play for a player like Marcus Rashford. So, like I say, big move, good deal, I would say, for Barcelona. It means they can, that's kind of, I wouldn't say their attack sorted, but it is kind of when you think about it, because like I said, you still got Ferran Torres, Fermin Lopez, Dani Olmo still there. Now you got Marcus Rashford. You can rotate. You can definitely rotate. And I think Hansi Flick is going to try and do that a little bit more next season. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section, people, and I will catch you guys with some more transfer news real soon.